There are two kinds of people in this world, the ones who follow the grain and the ones willing to go against it. Welcome to Against the Grain. Business lessons, life, and liquor served one cocktail at a time. Tonight's drink is poured. Let's see where the conversation takes us.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of Against the Grain. So this is Jon here with Nick. Hey, Nick, how you doing?
What's up, Jon? How are you?
I'm doing good. So we established with our first episode that with each episode we'd start by telling folks what we're drinking. So what are you drinking, Nick?
Right now, I'm drinking a little bit of vodka and soda.
All right. All right. Well,
What about you?
I'm having an old fashioned made with Buffalo Trace, and I'm going to tell you why Buffalo Trace here in a minute. But this is what we'll have a recipe on the website, which is champagneshine.com. Nick, the whole first episode we forgot to mention the website, so we've got to make sure we do that going forward. So in case we have listeners that want to find us, champagneshine.com, and champagne is spelled ChampAign, like the Champaign County in Ohio or Champaign, the city in Illinois. So let's start by saying cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. So, Nick, like I said, I'll tell you why I chose to drink with Buffalo Trace, I started talking about it, and then I rambled off to something else. So apologize for that, but I am leaving drink recipes on the website right under the podcast. So where you see the link for the podcast, you'll see the recipe for whatever it is that we're having. So I'll leave you the old-fashioned recipe there. But before I tell you why Buffalo Trace, let's start with today's sip. So the book itself, every chapter has a sip and a proof. We're not really covering a chapter today. We're pivoting, and we had planned to, but we're pivoting, and we're going to do something else.
And we're going against the grain.
We're going against the grain right off the bat. So the sip for this episode, Nick, is that knowledge comes from decades of paying attention, or just paying attention. Doesn't have to be decades. It's something that doesn't disappear when the body gives out. So that expertise is something that's yours, something that you keep. So that's our sip. What do you think about that?
Well, it brings to mind two things. One, I'm sure everyone's dad is this way, but my dad, he's a farmer, and I
Yep.
constantly working on stuff machinery-wise, and I trying to turn wrenches, help him out sometimes, and I'll be like, oh man, I can't get this specific bolt out, and he'll do it in 2 seconds. So that's
Yeah.
one, that's totally expertise. But the other one is just at work. Like, I mean, every single day, every experience you get, it actually just came into play yesterday. I had a store call me that they'd been working, trying to get a customer's phone working for hours and hours and hours. And I said, have you tried turning off call forwarding? And he said, oh, it would never be that. No way. Well, long story short, he checks it, and it was totally call forwarding. So,
Uh-huh.
and that's just, I've done it 100 times. He's only been working for a year. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you just know. You just know. So, well, the relevance with this and the whole Buffalo Trace thing, Nick, it all comes together in that chapter 1 does include a story about Buffalo Trace. So I'm not going to get into it really here. Folks can get the book, or I do give a sample of chapter 1 away if folks join our list. We call it the Distiller Circle. They can get a copy of that sample of the chapter, but it's a story that involves Buffalo Trace and some family traditions, some of my family traditions, and particularly my dad. And long story short, we did some blind taste testing, and we were testing multiple recipes of a moonshine that I had made, an aged moonshine that I had made, that I call Bourbana. I call it that because I can't call it bourbon because it's moonshine, and I don't live in bourbon country. And I live in a town called Urbana. So I put the two together and called it Urbana. But anyways, I was testing out some recipes and had my family involved in a blind taste test, and we had Buffalo Trace as one of the as a sample, as a control sample, right? And my dad just knew it. So we everyone had scorecards, and rather than score it when it came to the Buffalo Trace sample, he just wrote down Buffalo Trace. He knew what it was, but it was his favorite. And so, anyways, story goes along with that. But what I wanted to talk to you and everyone about in this episode of the podcast, though, is kind of relative to that Buffalo Trace story. It was kind of in pieces in the original manuscript, and as I had folks review things, they're like, these stories involving your dad, it really ought to be one story, and it ought to be up early in the book. And so I made that shift, and it made a lot of sense. And I put the story up earlier as one story. And then I started thinking about it, Nick, and I was like, I wonder if Buffalo Trace himself would have any interest whatsoever in reviewing the book and providing a little blurb. So I reached out to them, and we went back and forth over a few weeks, but I'm pleased to say they ultimately did provide a little blurb that I could include on the book cover, front and back cover, in marketing materials and things like that. So I'm super stoked about that, Nick. And anyways, I'll take a breather here and have a little sip and let you stew on that for a minute.
I mean, I think that's pretty cool. That brings it was the master distiller that wrote it, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that opens up a lot of doors. I mean, maybe potential collaboration in the future if we run this right.
Yeah. Well, they did extend an invitation, said, hey, if you want to come down with the family sometime, we'll do something special in memory of your father. Dad has passed away. He passed away a couple of years ago, and a little over a year after that taste test, he passed away. And that was just, I mean, God, that was just super nice, right? And so I would like to take them up on that and go down there to the distillery, because it's what, maybe
Absolutely.
3 hours from where we live, and uh, uh, you know. But anyways, Lisa, I was just super grateful and excited that they would chose to put their name on my product, and that's huge. And whether or not it results in anything, like book sales or anything like that, if it influences that, I don't know. Time will tell. But just for them to do that is a pretty big damn deal, and I'm real excited about it. But kind of the lesson though, or the crux of the matter though, Nick, that I wanted to talk about was that was just a complete go for it moment, right? I didn't know anybody at Buffalo Trace. I didn't have anyone that knew anyone at Buffalo Trace. For all I know, they could have ghosted my email, my initial email. They could have taken a look at the book and said, yeah, I don't think so, and said no. But they didn't. They responded right away. They're like, send it over. We'll look at it. They looked at it, and came back, um, and it was just because I went for it, right? I had nothing to lose, so I went for it. So that's kind of what I want to talk about here today, is just going for it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the thing for me with that story you just told is like you literally had nothing to lose. Like it was only a win-win situation for you. So I
Hmm.
like that you took the chance. A lot of people go through life and would never take a chance like that. Even in one that's such an obvious win if they say yes, and no harm at all if they say no.
Yeah, and I've got several examples throughout my life that are like that, and people would say, how did you score that? How did you get that? And it's just, well, I just asked. So many times we're afraid to just ask, and if you don't ask, the answer is no. If you ask, the
That's
answer
right.
might still be no, but It just might be yes, so why not? Just go for it.
My favorite Michael Scott quote is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take."
I'm pretty sure he's not the first one to have said that, but we'll go ahead and attribute it to him.
It was Wayne Gretzky, but
Oh, was it? Okay.
yeah.
Uh, well, there you go. So, anyway, yeah. So, Nick, that's a recent story of mine where I just said I'm going for it. I'm just going to go for it. You have a story you'd like to share about just going
Yeah,
for it, where maybe there's a little risk involved?
for sure. I mean, when a really great example of that had probably a little, well, for me, it was very high stakes, but um, my wife and I, when she got out of college, she had a job offer in Milwaukee, and I was very, very comfortable in my job that I had in Urbana, actually. Um,
Mm.
and a job became available right about the time that we were looking at apartments, and I definitely was not qualified for it by any stretch of the imagination. But I went ahead and applied, and I asked for my current boss to write me a letter of recommendation, and I ended up getting the job. He said some pretty good things about me, and it made me really happy. They actually stick with me today, what he said. But yeah, I mean, that's an opportunity that I didn't think I had a chance of getting, but just by asking someone in the company that thought a lot of me, um, to write a letter of recommendation went a long way to me getting that promotion. So
Yeah. Yeah, and look how your life has changed since then. I mean, that just was one of many doors that you walked through. But if you hadn't walked through that first one, who knows where things might have turned? You just
yeah, I
don't
mean, I
know.
could still been in Urbana doing the same thing I was doing before, for sure.
Yeah, Urbana. Yeah, I want to hit on Urbana real quick, but then I want to come back to something you said about remembering some of the things that your boss told you. So Urbana, I mentioned the website champagneshine.com and how champagne is spelled. And Urbana, the town of Urbana, Ohio, is in Champaign County, Ohio. And some of its first settlers, I think, took a good look around and said, let's keep going. So they went on, right? And they got as far as Illinois, and they settled uh, Champaign, Urbana there. So Champaign, the city, which is where the Illini, the Fighting Illini, call home, right? Um, so I don't know if they got that far and said, this is it, or if they got that far and said, man, let's just stop here. This is good enough. I
Well,
don't
one
know.
thing I think that we can agree, those folks that founded Champaign Urbana probably weren't as original as the folks that founded Urbana in Champaign County, Ohio. They had to use the
Yeah,
same name. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they didn't have to pay any rights for that either. They just did it,
it's
right? So,
correct. They got it for free.
but hey, let's go back to something you said about your boss and remembering to this day some of the things that your boss said. So, I'm sure we've all got, hopefully, we've all got those kinds of experiences. I certainly do. I've got, from especially from my very first boss out of college. He dropped so many words of wisdom. He also passed away. He passed away this year, same age as my dad. But one of the early things he taught me, Nick, was that if you get up every day just miserable about going into work, you've got to leave. You can't stay there because you're not doing yourself any good, your family, your friends, your coworkers, whoever your employer is. Everyone loses if that's the way you feel every day. Now we all have bad days, right? It's like, oh man, I do not want to go to work today. We all have that feeling. But if it's every single day, you're killing yourself. You're killing, probably literally, and you're hurting everyone around you. You've got to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I think we all know people that have been in positions like that. Um, so, I mean, I think that's great advice.
Yeah, and it ties right into the "go for it," theme of this episode, right? It's like, um, Yeah, well, I've got this job. I've got the job, so that's good, because most of us need to be employed, and so that's good. Um, Pays okay, but I just flip and hate it, and can't stand it, and so that's when you've got to take that big leap of faith and go for it. Now, I always advise, not everybody follows this advice, but I always advise, hey, even if you're that miserable, don't just quit without a backup. It's easier to find a job when you're employed than it is when you're
Correct.
unemployed. So
And you're
try
not
just go
desperate.
for it. Yeah, yeah. And again, I rambled too much and stole a little of your thunder. Go ahead there.
No, I already said what I had to say. Yeah, I mean, the by the way, the thing that my boss said about me is, the hiring manager at the time, he said that person would be foolish to not hire me for the job.
There you go.
So I thought that,
You can't
that
get
was pretty
any.
cool.
Yeah, you can't get any better praise than that. So,
You know,
all right. Um, so Nick, on the first episode, we kind of jokingly said we should try to get some sort of alien comment in every episode, and um, I'm sure we can pull that off. I'm not sure if there's a real reason to, but other than just goofing around. But
well,
I
what we're angling for here, John, is we want to turn
yeah
this podcast when we're done into an
yeah.
alien podcast, so we can just go right into that. That's what we're looking
Oh
for.
well, what would an
Have you ever
alien
been to
podcast
like
be like?
Roswell or Area 51?
Have I ever been there?
Yeah.
No, no,
I
no. And if I
once
have, I
drove
couldn't
through
tell you.
Roswell for
Yeah,
work. I was in that area of the country, and I was driving around, hitting a couple stores in that area, and I drove through Roswell. Didn't know it was Roswell, but there was a like alien shop there, and I was like, oh, I got to
yeah.
stop, right? So I bought alien beef jerky
Ah.
when I stopped. It tasted like regular beef jerky.
Was it, do you think it was made by aliens or from aliens?
Um, so I that's a good question. I actually think it was an alien cow, is what I think.
Oh,
Because
uh-huh.
it was beef jerky, so it was definitely from a cow.
Yeah.
I just like to think that it was so both. It was made by aliens by of an alien cow. That's what I think.
Maybe the whole beef jerky thing has something to do, or alien beef jerky has something to do with animal mutilations, because it's mostly cows, right? You find the mutilated cows that have the inexplicable wounds and organs missing and things like that. Maybe they're just up
Yeah,
there zapping and making some beef jerky out of it.
yeah. Or it could have been a cow that got tractor beamed up into. Um, that's how they made it. I guess that would make it alien beef jerky too. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't really. I didn't ask. I should have asked.
All right. So the aliens just said, "Hey, looks like some kind of cattle down there. Let's just go for it, and
Yep,
we'll make some jerky. We'll sell it in Roswell and see how it does." So,
that's right. It's
hey,
exactly right. That's what the weather balloon was.
that's right. All right, Nick. So that's most of what I wanted to just talk about today was just going for it. Take that risk. It can be a calculated risk, but take a risk now and then, because if you just keep doing things over and over again the same way, you're going to get burnt out, bored, or just stuck in a rut. And that's kind of what going against the grain is all about, is finding a way out of that and doing something different, something that perhaps no one else has done before, or something that you have not done before. All right. So the proof here, our proof is that what you want to do is you want to try to find some sort of standard, right? And then try to beat that standard. You don't have to always win. You don't have to always beat the standard that you've set out there, but it's really important to just keep chasing it, and see how close you can get. Because if you keep chasing some sort of standard that you've set that's kind of beyond the norm, then you're going to be constantly improving and constantly getting better results. As long as you don't get into a mindset of, damn, I'm never going to get there, and get into this defeatist sort of mindset. You've got to keep it positive and keep it something that you're chasing after willingly and learning from. So
Yes. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that kind of goes into the next part that I'm going to try to cover that you don't know about yet.
Yeah, is this Nick's Mash? Is it time for Nick's Mash?
Oh, it's time.
All right, let's hit it.
Cool. So my mash for the week, I want to talk about a buzzword that we all hear far too often, and I think it's quietly killing innovation in America, and that's best practices. Okay, so when you think of best practices, what do you think of, John?
I think of standard procedures that everyone kind of feels comfortable knowing what the results are going to be if I follow them.
Yeah, I think that's accurate. So think about your work experience. How often have you like been working on something, a new project, and you're hitting a brick wall, and inevitably somebody pops up and says, "What are the best practices? What's everybody else doing?" Um, I think that just like you said, the more often that we just continue to do the same things, we're going to get the same results. Obviously, you
Mm-hmm.
guys are working on a problem that needs to be fixed, and the same old's not going to get it done. So that's why I want to make sure that everybody starts thinking new, novel ideas. To me, one of the most impressive things a person can do is come up with a novel idea. Um, and that's very impactful and is going to change the way business is done. But if you're constantly using best practices, they're old ideas, and you're going to get old results.
Mm-hmm.
It's constantly in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I agree. I agree. We've got to evolve. We've got to change and move along. So what worked yesterday probably not going to work today.
So I think that this compounds with the most dangerous question. I think they're kind of in the same vein, but they're different traps. So you can definitely use the most dangerous question to get better results outside of best practices, but they're definitely different things, and you can use them differently every day.
All right, there you go. Nick's Mash. I like
Consider
it.
it mashed.
Consider it mash, and that brings us to the end of the episode. So thanks, Nick. Appreciate your mash, and appreciate your words of wisdom. And we'll catch you on the next round.
Yep. See everyone. ChampagneShine.com.
Business lessons, life, and liquor. Until next time, stay honest, stay curious, and never be afraid to go against the grain. And remember, life's about choices.